Should I buy a resale condo and move in immediately, or buy a new launch and rent while waiting to move in? The question is, which works better for you? Hi guys, it's Joel Lee from Safe with Property, and today I'll be sharing my very own personal case study of what went through my mind before I decided on which option to go for. I knew I had to compare the true cost of these two options. So let's do the calculations together so you can follow along and see if which was the more suitable decision for me. So step 1, let's start with your budget and other criteria. I had a budget of $1.3 million, and with this budget, I had to also make sure I stayed close to my children's school. So with this, I narrowed down to my two options. So let's look at option 1. I can buy a ready-to-move-in resale unit at Riversound Residences in Sengkang. Or I can look at option 2, buy a unit at Treasure at Tampines, which is a new launch condo that will only be ready after 3 years. And in the meantime, I have to rent another condo to stay until then. So these were the two exact units I had filtered down to for each option. Riversound Residences, a $1.29 million 4-bedroom unit. And Treasure at Tampines, a 3-bedroom unit at $1.292 million. So next, let's take a look at step 2. We list out the true costs for each option. Now let's work out the cost for the resale first. First, we do have the down payment of $325,000 plus stamp duty. Next, we're going to be taking a $975,000 loan. So at 1.5% interest over 30 years, the installments will work out to be $3,300 monthly. But out of this $3,300, the true cost is actually the interest paid, since this is money that goes to the bank and I do not get it back eventually. So that's about $1,200 every month. And then we do have the management fee. Every month it will cost me about $300. And for a renovation for a unit this big, it will easily come up to about $80,000. Let's just say my timeline is for about 5 years. After that, I may be ready to want to upgrade again. So the total cost to buy this resale for the next 5 years will come up to be about $175,000. Okay, so now we can work out the cost for buying a new launch and renting. The new launch is only ready in 3 years, so for the first 3 years, I get the benefit of renting a 4-bedroom condo that fits all my criteria. I found one in an ideal location, convenient for my wife and children. So this works out to be about $2,900 rental per month for me. Next, the interest on the new installment for the new launch is only $500 in the early stages. So to recap, for the first 3 years, my costs are about $3,400 every month. Now 3 years later, Treasure is ready, so I move in and I start paying the same monthly cost as I would if I were to move into Riversound. And that's about $1,500 every month for the next 2 years. So the total cost of buying a new launch and renting over 5 years would come up to be about $158,000. So let's take a look after 5 years. Buying the new launch is actually cheaper, but which sounded more like a better option for me? Well, my decision back in 2019 was to buy the new launch. And I had to rent a place just beside my daughter's school for the next 3 years before I can move in. Now, was it the right choice? Let's look at prices today in 2021, 2 years later. Today, a similar higher floor unit at Riversound exchanged hands for about $1.275 million, which is actually a slight dip from 1.29 back then. But I would say overall prices are somewhat the same. Now what about my Treasure unit? A similar unit on the same floor just next to my block is selling at $1.477 million. That's $185,000 different since I bought it at $1.29 million. So in my case, I felt I have definitely made the right decision since it was not only cheaper over the 5 years, but I'm also sitting on more appreciation. Now I want to add that this was right for me only because this was my decision-making criteria. But for other people, they might have been happier with the resale. For example, if they stayed longer and made the renovation cost worth it. What I want to conclude is that this shows that you have more options when it comes to buying your next condo. You're not always stuck with buying a resale or stuck with buying a new launch. In fact, if you'd like to see what options you may be missing, feel free to reach out to me. So if you like the analysis I did in this video, go ahead and tap the like and subscribe button so I can share more useful property tips to you and more people out there. I'll see you in my next video.